Chubby blue blood flowing through our veins. Sitting in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old-style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubby, Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Mucho Scali.
Son Ranto.
Michael.
Son Ranto.
Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Mucho Scali. Son Ranto.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you got me doing the double Trump dirt jerk off here. I'm so excited. Welcome to the Son Ranto Show. My name's Danny Rocket. That was the lovely strains of Michael Cotton.
It was a strain too. Luckily, I grabbed
check
my
your check your underpants there, son.
I grabbed my hot chocolate. I got hot chocolate in there to warm those vocal cords up. Get ready.
What do you
to
mean
go.
by hot chocolate? I heard that kind of straining. You might have some hot chocolate in your in your drawer, son. Well, this show is brought to you by our 102 incredible Patreon supporters who support us at patreon.com/Bleacher Bunch and all the great shows on the Bleacher Bunch. Please support us there. And it's another off-season episode, so I think we should start with, well, first of all, we are supported by In the Clutch shirts. I just see that you have disrobed down to your Mordecai three-figure Brown's twirling hand shirt. So make sure you pick up one of those. Small business. That's all we're doing this time of year. Really any time of year, not just this time of year. Let's just support small business. But I thought we would start with a reading from the Bleacher Bums Bible book. This is also small business. Might have heard of it. It's available on this really tiny bookseller called Amazon.
Yeah,
Tiny
exactly.
company.
And if we sell about 100 more, I might actually get a little money.
Yeah, but Jeff Bezos needs a new support yacht. So
yeah, well, that's how they do it. They sit on the money until you make like $100. They're not going to send you that $1.35 every time somebody buys a book. They're just going to sit on it until you have $100, and then they'll send you a check or something. And
so it makes a great stocking stuffer. So Bleacher Bums Bible book, you have to type it in exactly like that into Amazon, and then you can buy it for, what is it, $8? No, isn't it $69? $6.66. Oh, beautiful. Plus tax.
Yeah, there's a Kindle version that'll cost you, I think it's like $2.69 or something like that, but the physical book is $6.66.
Okay, well, I'm gonna just go to a random page here.
This is fun because I have no idea what you're going to bring, and then I hear it, and I don't remember writing.
All right, this was a nice short one. I figured so that they're all different lengths. Some are short, some are long, but all are well thought out and perfect for the toilet, I would say.
It's the world's greatest pooper book.
So this is 18. This is number 18. As a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. Proverbs 31:6.
Didn't we do this one recently?
Did we? I don't know.
What is
the
reference?
Well, you said, in other words, there's always next year.
Okay, well, that makes sense for right now.
Yeah. Here's another one. Thou shalt not worship false idols. Exodus 24. That's one of the 10 commandments, I believe. When the Chicago Cubs front office decided to adopt Clark the Cub as their official mascot, they sent a cease and desist letter to Billy the Cub, a local busker who would take pictures with fans outside of Wrigley for a donation. The Cubs were establishing their own mascot and thus eliminated the false idol who was just trying to make a buck outside the gates. And so that's a great segue to what I want to talk about first, which is Ronnie Woo Woo's Halloween birthday. we had a great time. Saw a lot of, Crawley was there. Went there with Gary, Scotty from the corner, one of the bleacher bums that's always out with one of the ball hawks that's always out there. He came to the party, and I just want to play a couple of little videos. So you can see how happy Ronnie is. Me and Gary went in there. Well, you'll see what we did. Here's Under the Boardwalk. You can see I'm dressed as a hot dog. Gary dressed as a underemployed musician. There's Ronnie in his chair, singing at the top of his lungs.
That's the best sounding hot dog I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, this hot dog can sing. I got to tell you something hilarious though. Ronnie's on oxygen, and it's got to be plugged into the wall. So they couldn't get the plug by where Ronnie was sitting to work. They said, "Hey, what are you plugged into?" I'm like, "Well, I'm over here. You can use my extension cord. I don't really need it. You could plug into my power strip here." So I'm plugged. Ronnie's plugged into the same stuff my amp is plugged into, right? And Gary's keyboard and the microphone situation. So anyway, I go to plug in a speaker, but I always like to turn everything off before plugging something in. I just by force of habit, I was just like, and that oxygen, it makes a loud sound. It's just constantly and so I turn off everything so that I could plug in my speaker, but I heard this and I was like, what was that? What just turned off? I'm like, oh fuck, Ronnie's oxygen. So
happy birthday, Ronnie.
I felt like that scene in Airplane when she's singing that song to the little girl and she keeps pulling out her IV.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. Hey, so hashtag chance in the chat, by the way, if you want to take a chance around me and your life-saving apparatuses, which I wouldn't do after that story I just told. But I'll play one more video. This is us, and I'll play a couple more later. But this is I changed Johnny Be Good to Ron Be Good. There's Crawley in the Spider-Man costume playing tambourine. And look at Ronnie. He's got a doll of himself. There's a bowling pin there. The guy dresses a bowling pin. A lot of people dress. One guy came as an umpire.
Oh, I love the umpire. That's good. There's a 12-year-old in St. Louis missing his costume.
Look, everybody's singing together. Go, Ronnie. Go, go, go. Ronnie, be good.
I'm liking that the hot dog wearing some glasses.
Hot dog needs to wear glasses when he has his contacts in. Those are called readers. I mean, that's the sad thing is if I'm wearing my contact lenses, I have to wear readers on top of the lenses. So I usually just go around blind because then I can see everything up close, but by the end of the night, though, my face is up in the book, I'm just like, I can't see nothing.
No, I'm absolutely the same way. The way that my contacts work is now I have to figure out where my sweet spot is if I'm looking at a book or something. I go to a restaurant and I don't have my reading glasses and it's dark. The dark is the thing that kills me the most. And it's kind of mood lighting at the restaurant. And I'm just sitting there I can't read shit.
Oh yeah. Well, that's when you see I cleaned out Nicole's grandma's house about 10 years ago when she died. And there was all these light up magnifying glasses in there. And I had held on to them for a while, but then when we moved, I got rid of a bunch of that stuff. And I'm like, why did I get rid of that? I need light up magnifying glasses pretty much every day. Dominic Galoro is here saying hashtag chance in the chat. So I just thought I'd mention
show
that.
Just got right off. We're talking about
Old
Ronnie
man
Woo Woo's
talking
birthday.
baseball.
He's 89 years old or something. 84 years old. And then we spend the rest of the time talking about how we're too old to read.
How we can't see anymore. Yeah. Well, at least the Cubs can kind of see when they're on the field. They won 3 Gold Gloves this week. I mean, but not unexpected. PCA obviously, he probably deserves more than a Gold Glove, and maybe he gets the Platinum Glove. That's a thing too, right? That they made up recently.
Yeah,
New awards.
I was looking at some of those numbers, and the center fielder from what is it? The center fielder from the Red Sox somehow has like some better numbers. It was something like he's like kind of rated higher. And I'm like, how in the hell are you rated higher than Pete Crow Armstrong at center field? That's
Jaron Duran. It's because he plays multiple positions. That's why.
But we're whatever.
So it's kind of apples and oranges. Like
Yeah.
Sarah and I had a whole conversation about it. She's like, yeah, it's like they don't really compare because PCA can do things that nobody else can do.
Yep.
Like that he's just doing things that are so like people are still talking about like the Willie Mays catch like years and years later. We may have still yet to see PCA's greatest catch, and we've seen some incredible catches. We've seen PCA make catches that other guys who played center field for a decade in the big leagues have never made that catch. Jim Edmonds never made that catch. And Gold Glover, Jim Edmonds, good center fielder. But, but PCA is doing things that you don't get to see but once in a generation, if that.
Well, and that's the thing too. It's like no disrespect to Duran. Like if you were really good at one position like PCA, they wouldn't move you around. Like you'd have a spot.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on your team because the Cubs do stupid shit like that. Like, look at Ian Happ. Ian Happ was our center fielder for a long time. They're like, oh, we don't know what we want to do. I'm first base, second base. Like, they don't know what they're doing. But the other ones are Nico and, man, a lot of people wanted Nico traded last year. And I'm really glad they didn't because he had a great year with the bat. But the glove, you just take it for granted. Like, he's a shortstop playing second, and that's awesome.
I want to nip this like revisionist history right in the bud. People are talking about this like, oh, you wanted to trade Nico last year, blah blah blah.
Say that about you?
Different people. No, literally nobody wanted to trade him. He was the only guy on the team that you could trade. That's why people were talking about it. Like, no, it's funny that like all of a sudden we're in this offseason. Everybody's like giving people shit about, well, you wanted to trade Nico Horner. And it's like, no, nobody wanted to trade him. The Cubs had no other player you could have gotten anything for.
This is a good point. It's Sedan Rafaela, not Jaron Duran.
Okay. Well,
yeah, that is correct. I had the name wrong.
I'm taking PCA over Rafaela.
Because
like
Sedan
Rafaela
is, but he's also a shortstop.
Right. But yeah.
So anyway, just to correct ourselves from a moment ago, it's Rafaela, not Duran.
Okay.
Sorry, where were we?
It's almost like
Gold Glove with.
We should have a Red Sox fan on this podcast that could have told us that right away.
Well, it would have been Sarah because we argued about it, and I obviously wasn't listening because I still was like, I think it's Jaron Duran. I don't know.
We literally have Sarah and Lyle,
and they're not
Can't get either one of them on the podcast.
Yeah. So, so maybe it is a bit of a straw man argument to say that Nico, everybody wanted him traded, and they didn't. That wasn't really a thing, people didn't really want him traded. It's just that you could, and maybe if you wanted to like get a better pitcher or something like that, Nico could be part of that package. But he's inexpensive for what he brings you, and like that contact bat is exactly what you need. I mean, I think he should probably even have let off more than he did. Especially once it was apparent that he was seeing it well and had a great year. They just kind of like he just seemed kind of buried in the lineup a lot. I don't know. He batted pretty high, but
Well, towards the end of the year, he batted pretty high. But yeah, he was like 5th or 6th early in the year. But that's when they were winning, too, right? Like when that offense was working really well, I mean, you had Hap at the top, and then Tucker, and then Saya, and then Bush. Well, actually, no, you had Kelly, and then Bush, and then you had Nico. You know what I mean? Like, and it worked great. That was a good constructed lineup until people started getting hurt and he had to move people around. And
yeah, he mostly batted sixth last year, but he was, and by a lot, like 216 plate appearances versus 75 from the leadoff spot. But he actually did well from the leadoff spot, batted 306, OBP of 333. But it's a much smaller sample size. And actually OBP was the same, 333 at 6. So it didn't really matter where you put him. He had a really consistent approach, both in the field and at the plate. And that might be Nico Horner's best year we've seen.
Yeah,
overall.
He led the team in hits. Not a lot of power with that hits, but led the team with hits. Battled for the batting title with a 297 batting average. Like, he doesn't take a lot of walks, but that's only because he's putting the ball in play.
Yeah. Well, exactly. He's a contact guy. And that's kind of the idea, I guess, about putting him six. You got some guys on, you can move him over, knock him in with a sac fly or I know, how about the contact play? Nico could give you one of those. Got a man on third. Have I got the batter for you?
Yeah. But, that's why you put him second, too. If you get your guy on, then he can start moving him around. And if you don't get your guy on, there's a damn good chance he's going to get on. So you're not ruining that inning, So,
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, he had a great year. And then the other guy is Ian Happ, who has won the Gold Glove before. So it was kind of his to lose, right? He won it last year, I believe.
He's won it 3 or 4 years straight now.
And once you get it, you don't lose it. That's how he keeps winning this now.
Well, and he keeps winning it because
4 years going.
He only has to go against other left fielders. And honestly, left fielders never won Gold Gloves prior to changing it in 2019. Like left fielders, that's where you put your bad fielder. You put them in left. That's like the easiest place for people to play. Like when you were a kid, they always put you in right field because nobody ever hit out there. But in the majors, it's left field. And so he's going up against a lot of guys who are out there almost specifically for their bat, not necessarily because they're any good.
Yeah, it's a DH half the time, or some platoon guy, or they bury a rookie, or we had Travis Wood, Pedro Strop out there, and Ian
you
Happ.
put him in left.
Look. So yeah, it is a little bit of the participation trophy, but
it's like striking out the pitcher in the lineup. When he comes around, you figure that's going to happen. He might not, it might get a hit, but more than likely it's just going to be Ian Happ, Gold Glove.
But Ian Happ is a good fielder. He is solid out there. We've seen butchers out there to compare it to. So remember Kyle Schwarber actually really did suck at left for a long. He had a great arm. He could throw you out after he misplayed a ball, ran after it, got it out of the ivy, and then gunned you down at third. Like he could do that. But but he'd be missing a shoe, he'd be bleeding, there'd be ivy in his hair.
Would you rather have the 40+ home run power and the defense that he brings to left field, or Ian Happ's Gold Glove defense and the 20, if we're lucky, home run power?
And Ian Happ had a pretty good year too. He was streaky like always, but disappeared for a month like he does. But
he has a good year every year. But
he got back to his numbers so sick of it. This is the last year. This is it. Got the no trade. So
It's the last year for all these guys.
yeah,
Nobody's
last
coming
year,
back
maybe
except for
for
Dansby.
maybe the whole world. Actually, it could be the world.
That's true. But yeah, Dansby's the only guy, the only like real true contract that they have going beyond 26. Because, obviously they've got Michael Bush and they've got Matt Shaw and they've got young guys who are going to be with the team beyond 26. But
yeah, they're all controllable.
Saya's gone after 26, I think. Hap's gone. Nico's gone.
Yeah. Anthony writes in again, says having Gold Glove defense in left field is like being the tallest hobbit in the Shire. It is
Absolutely.
I mean, but he's good. Like, I don't want to minimize the fact that Ian Happ, I think, is a good fielder at least. I mean, he could play a lot of positions. He played center, but Cubs are a great defensive team.
Yes.
And they really are. They're almost built around it, I'd say. Even their pitching staff is built around the fact that the ball's going to get hit.
Yep. And I mean, I would say Ian Happ would actually be even better had he accepted PCA as the center fielder and moved his ass over a little bit and let PCA take some of those balls, start covering a line a little more, bud.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. We're going to need you to cover those Bartman seats if you don't mind. Just when you stand over there. And then there's I call it a fake award. It's a real award. In fact, it's maybe more of a real award, that Silver Slugger. Because the coaches and the players vote, right?
yeah.
And Kyle Tucker won it.
And I definitely do like that. And when you look at his numbers as, for his position, like Silver Slugger is just for your position. It's like the Gold Glove, right? It's not like
right field is got a lot of hitters, good hitters in it.
Yeah, it does. And his first half of the season, like, buoyed his second half of the season big time. I brought this up because when I was looking for TFCs today, oh my God, everybody was freaking out about Kyle Tucker getting the Silver Slugger, just like, oh, low bar this year, and just like making fun, like, how in the hell did he win that? He was terrible, and people are like, he was actually pretty good. And he was actually pretty good. But
fans are delusional. It's part of the problem.
It's part of the problem. But it's just that the last 2 months were so bad. And so I brought up his numbers. In the first half, he hit 280, 384, 499. He had an 882 OPS. That is excellent. That's like top of the line across the board. That's what you're looking for out of a superstar. But then in the second half, which, by the way, is actually, it's more like the first 2/3, because even though they call it first half and second half, they go by the All-Star
break,
which is so stupid. 95 games before the All-Star break and 41 after. But sure, it's first half and second half.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he went down to 231, 360, 378 for a 738 OPS.
Yeah. And I want to talk more about, we're going to do a little trivia later with each other and try to stump each other on some questions. So I do have a Kyle Tucker question in my questions. It's not what you just said, but I did want to talk about Kyle Tucker ahead of time. And since he won the Silver Slugger, we might as well get right into it, because the Cubs gave him the qualifying offer today, which I was texting with Wrigleyville Bum about it, because he's just like, well, why don't they just like give him $300 million and actually have him be on the fucking team? Because, he was injured, but like you said, his numbers before being injured were great. Like, he has been injured
after being injured, they weren't even bad. They just weren't what they were.
Well, it's not $300 million you're going to pay. And the numbers, and because of his numbers being down, everybody expects now his price will come down to maybe a place where Ricketts would bite. And here's the thing. I know everybody's like, oh, they don't want to have a team because they're not going to be at 2027. They don't have to pay these guys if there's a lockout. Like, they will still have that contract when they come back, and Kyle Tucker will ostensibly still be a good baseball player when they figure out whatever labor strife they get into. If
Well,
there is a strike, it doesn't really matter. You could still sign a guy for the next 8 years, and you don't have to pay him if there's no baseball.
right. You wouldn't have to pay him. But in that scenario, you're losing the second year of that deal. And that's one of the more important years. Like when you spend the kind of money they've been spending on these guys, you hear it all the time. You hope to get a good first 5 years, and then you just take the back half of the contract, the last 3 or 5 or whatever it is, you just take that on the chin and just say, well, that's the price of doing business.
Cubs hate that. Yeah. They don't
But if
like
you
it.
do that and you know year number 2 is just going to be gone, then you're kind of spending. And trust me, I agree with you, Danny. Just if you got the money,
Well,
sign
you
the guy.
you need him.
You need him.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, you need him because otherwise you're relying on Owen Casey being the next Kyle Tucker. That's
Right.
what you're. I mean, period. And if that's what you're saying is going to happen,
Which
Moises
won't bring him up.
Ballesteros, you know, I mean, you know, and certainly you can get production out of those guys. You hope for it, you really do. But wouldn't you rather have Kyle Tucker and then Ian Happ will be off the team eventually, someday, after next year, and then you could try guys out left and all sorts of things. You can move things around, maybe even, you know, make a good old fashioned trade and take your prospects out of the Star Wars packaging and either play with them or move them somewhere else. But I want to put up Kyle Tucker's numbers. This is on the year overall, 4.6 WAR, which, you know, you're looking for double that with that kind of money. You know, like you want an 8 WAR player or something like that. This is B WAR. 22 home runs. Obviously, those are down numbers from when you were expecting, but it maybe if he had stayed healthy, he at least hits 30, 35.
maybe if there was any sort of like spine within the management and coaching staff to make him actually, you know, take care of their players rather than let the players run around and do whatever the hell they want, you could have had a good player for the whole season.
They never got him healthy, you know, at the end, and they like dawdled on it too. But 841 OPS, 143 OPS plus, that OBP of 377. It was the highest on the team, I believe.
Yes.
And just, you know, and now once again, you need that lefty bat. And why? He's 28. Like, this is his moment. He's going to get the money. Some team's going to pay. It should be the Cubs. And if the Cubs won't go after a guy like Kyle Tucker, who seems like exactly the kind of guy they would go for, you know what I mean? Like,
he's
going to cost you.
He's a good Christian white travel ball boy. He's exactly what they've been waiting for.
So if they won't do this, then they're never going to do anything, because Jason Hayward's still the highest paid contract in the history of the league or the team. And that was now a decade ago.
Yeah. And it was what, 184 million or something?
Yeah. In decade ago money. Talk about eating the back end of the money. you ate the front end too on that one. I mean,
and that's
they
the
must
thing.
be gun shy from it.
That's the thing.
Like
Sarah talks about this all the time. The way that you're doing this. So, like I said, you're expecting your first few seasons. That's where you get your production, right? And then the last few seasons, you take that on the chin. But here's the thing. Though the way that this works, those last few seasons won't feel like you're getting ripped off. Look at Bryce Harper. 300 million, how many ever years ago? And now the Phillies still have him for whatever he's getting paid.
He's still doing well too.
Yeah, and he's doing very well, but he's playing better than his contract money would make you think. A similar player would get a lot more money.
They took a chance. I mean, they took a big swing. I mean, I was pretty disappointed. All
And
the
it's
Cubs
paying
fans.
off.
Well, and if the Cubs had gone and gotten Bryce Harper in that offseason, maybe they'd still have him, because he wanted years like that. Obviously, he wanted to settle down somewhere. And the Phillies have had more success because of having Bryce Harper over the last bunch of years, and they've at least been relevant in that
They've
NL East way more than the Cubs have been, who just have
they've
been
been in the playoffs more
underperforming.
often, and they've been to the World Series. They lost, but
Yeah.
they made it.
So, anyway, he got the qualifying offer. He's obviously not going to take it. He's going to take a much better offer that will be given to him, hopefully by the Cubs. But everybody always already says we're out,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
really
and
disappointing.
I think we are out. Now there was another qualifying offer put out there, and it was for Shota Imanaga.
Do you know what made me laugh about this? Because everybody did backflips in the blogosphere and the podcastosphere to go to Great Lakes to explain Shota's contract and like all the ins and outs of, well, if he opts in, then he gets this much, and if he opts out, then it's that much. And then they're just like, yeah, we're not doing it. And he's like, I'm not doing it. And so like none of the contract vested. Everything that was set up to happen, none of it happened. And then in the end, he gets a qualifying offer for 22 million, but people are split as to whether he will take that offer, because 22 million, I don't know if he gets that in a single season for another team based upon what he did last year, but he was a good pitcher. But
Well,
I don't know, 22 mil. But if he gets years somewhere,
while the social media landscape was losing their minds over the Cubs not picking that up, everybody's like, "Oh, they're out on him and they're gonna bail and all this stuff." Which, I mean, that's not wrong. But this Shota thing is not what is signifying that. And over in the Ranters Discord, which you can be a part of if you give money to us for, this, and on the Patreon, like we're in there talking about Shota, and I brought it up. I'm like, maybe they actually already have a deal in which they don't pick up his contract, because that extension was not a 1-year extension. It was for 3 years, no trade clause, and it was worth $57 million. Shota, of course, is not going to pick up the 15, because if he goes free agency, then he's probably going to get more than that, or the same
years,
but more years. But if they pick up the qualifying offer, that's going to be more than he would have made this year if they had picked up that 3 years, which they weren't going to do for the years. Now, Shota can go, he can make his 20, he can take the qualifying offer, make his 22 million, and then when baseball is done in 2027 and they're not playing, he could just go back to Japan. He'll be 34 years old at that point.
Yeah.
And he'll have made 40-some million dollars. Like, he can just go back and finish out his career there. And that's a really good deal for him. And it's so funny because everybody's freaking out. We're over here in the Ranchers, like, talking about, like, no, this is probably what's going to happen. And now I'm starting to see that as soon as people are like, oh, the Cubs are going to give him a qualifying offer. Well, I didn't see that coming.
Well, and the Cubs might get stuck with him, but they wouldn't really be stuck, because Anthony is saying here in the chat that if he does take it, the QO, I wouldn't be surprised to see him get traded in like a Bellinger-like salary dump. But, just like that Bellinger money, the Cubs will use that possibly for Cody Bellinger. I really want the Cubs to get Bellinger so we can make the joke that the Cubs got Bellinger with Bellinger money.
Right.
So
that's ridiculous. But
I like Shota. I mean, but he's not worth 22 million, at all. But he probably
and I would disagree with that too. I don't think he's that bad. Everybody's really down on him based on what they saw in maybe the last few starts of the season and then the playoffs. Like, they didn't like what he was doing. But I'm telling you, a lot of this happens because the management and the game plan is just really bad. And the Cubs got rid of their strategy guy, so I have to assume they're going to have a better strategy next year, and that will help.
Well,
Shota.
he's not getting 22 million from anybody, even if he does end up having a year like Matthew Boyd did last year, next year, and everybody's like, "Oh, I can't believe we wanted to get rid of Shota," and then we'll have a bunch of revisionist history next year. Be like, "Remember when you wanted Shota to die, and then instead he was the Cy Young Award winner?" And we'll all be like, "No," and be like, "Yes, you did."
Here's what's going to happen.
You burned all your Shota jerseys.
Right. Here's what's going to happen to Shota if he goes as a free agent, right? People are going to offer him maybe 3 years, 30 million, right? Something like that. That's not that great a deal. Even if he goes, 3 years, 45 million, that's not a very good deal because 2027 he's not going to get paid for. But they'll probably, most teams are going to be thinking about getting him a 2-year deal like Colin Ray just signed with the Cubs because they know they don't have to pay him in 2027. You know what I mean? Like, we can give you an extra year because we don't expect it to happen. But again, that doesn't make financial sense for Shota. What makes financial sense
is
for
to take
him
the 22 million, go back to
take
Japan.
the 22 million and then see what happens with 2027.
That might annoy
the smartest thing for him to do. And if he doesn't take that, I will be amazed. I really will.
I hope he's back. I don't really care how much they have to pay him. It certainly, they will use it as an excuse to not be able to spend other money. And like you said, or like Anthony said in the chat, they could trade him on top of it. So I thought we could take one moment just to explain. I want to explain one aspect of this qualifying offer, which is that you don't want to sign a player with a qualifying offer, or I don't care if the Cubs do or not, but if you were to sign somebody, you would take a penalty. We're in a category, the Cubs are, of all other teams, which there's like some small market teams have one way, big market teams have another. We're in this other basket called all other teams on MLB's website. I don't know why we're not big market, but we're not. So all of the teams, we would, if we signed a qualifying offer free agent. So this would be if another team also signed, they would take this penalty on if they were to sign Shota or if they were going to sign Tucker. So all other teams, us and the Braves and some other people, they lose their second highest selection. So whatever in the draft, you'd lose your second pick, as well as $500,000 from your international bonus pool for the upcoming signing period, which seems like that would suck, except for that the Cubs do not even have any national players anyway. It seems
right.
It just like, hey, we're gonna need you to move the Dominican real quick from Florida, and so we could use our bonus pool money and pretend you're Dominican. If one of these teams signs 2 qualified free agents, they also forfeit their third highest pick. So you'd lose 2 picks. Pretty high in rounds too.
And as Dominic Galoro points out with the Shota stuff, if they had signed that extension, then they would also owe the Bay Stars a bit of money as well. I didn't know that. I'm not 100% sure that's how that works, but maybe. I don't know.
I mean, there's a whole section about the posting systems too, and maybe that's just worked into that contract.
Right. But that absolutely could be part of it as well. But
they were, and I will talk about this. They saved $1 million by giving Kittredge back to the Orioles. Like, what was that deal? Like, that was weird. But more about the qualifying offer. If we lose our 2 free agents here, our qualifying offer free agents, if they do go sign with another team, all other teams, which is the Cubs and the Braves and some other teams, we receive a compensation pick after competitive balance round B.
After the Cardinals have made 4 picks.
4 picks, yeah.
The Cubs will get 1.
one pick from somebody the Cardinals of the Cardinals choosing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, and I absolutely expect that's the reason that they're going to, that's what's going to happen with Tucker. But that's really the only reason I think they gave the qualifying offer to Shota. Because if they weren't going to get that benefit if somebody else took him, I don't think they would have given him any money.
Yeah.
And they're gambling that he's going to turn the qualifying offer down because most players do. And if 2027 wasn't a thing that everybody just knows, he would have already turned it down.
Yeah, but Shota is a special case too because he has like this Japanese connection where he could probably go back there and find a job, whereas some of the American players that is not quite as feasible or part of their path, most likely.
Right.
So, and then speaking of Japan, I guess, because Colin Ray did play in Japan, the Cubs did. It's a 2-year deal, but it's really a 1-year deal with a club option for a second year.
And, for Ray.
Yeah. And so it's it's 1 million, 5 million. It's $5 million guarantee for 1 year. And, but there's a guaranteed buyout and then a 6 million club option for next year.
So,
is that right?
and I think how it works out, if I'm understanding it right, is that overall he's going to make an extra $500,000, and the Cubs have the option of having a pitcher in 2027 if they want him. So apparently they are hedging their bets that there's the off chance that they'll have baseball. And
I looked up an old, because they in January 13th, 2025, I looked up this is his last year contract. So I'll have to look up his new one. It's similar though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, I think the overall.
Why is it not coming up though?
It is technically an extension, but it's just this year with a club option for the next year, and he makes an extra $500,000.
Yeah, but what do you think about the move about bringing him back? I like it. It's fine. Doesn't really move the needle for me, but he had a really great year.
It's fine. That's all it is, though. I mean, this is the Colin Ray deal is what the Cubs should be doing, just as part of doing baseball. This shouldn't be news in any way because he had a good year. He's very cheap in starting pitching money, and they've never really viewed him as a starter, even though he had a good year. So he's basically he's depth. He can cover both starting pitching and long relief, bullpen stuff. Like, he's a very versatile guy, and he's not costing them very much money. This is sort of a no-brainer, and nobody should get worked up over it in any way.
Nobody is. Yeah. So actually, it's total value. It's $6.5 million club option for 2027. And then it would be 6 million. Then it would be 6 million for this year with a 500,000. There's a buyout for a $7 million club option, a bunch of buyout situations. But either way, it is a bit of a raise for him. $1 million raise.
And he deserves $13
million total. He had a great
after
year.
What he did this year. He absolutely deserves a little bit of a raise. And I mean, 2027 is going to come. Nobody really expects there to be a full season of baseball at a minimum, but teams will need to have players.
Well, I know. And I kind of think that maybe they'll figure something out too. I mean, who knows? Everybody's gonna be jockeying for position, but I think in the end, like, it is in the interest of both parties to have a season. Like, at some point, even
it is.
So I want to put up Colin Ray's numbers just before we go and take a couple minute break and come back and play a game, little game of trivia. And but here's Ray's numbers. Last year he had a 3.95 ERA, 159 innings. I think that's more than we thought he was going to pitch. Along with Matthew Boyd, who also had a very good year. I have a trivia question about Colin Ray later. So
wait, was
that
159? Was that? No, Boyd had the most innings pitched.
Yeah,
that's the one I was thinking about. We weren't expecting Boyd to have that many either, but yeah, he had the most.
Boyd had more innings than anybody, I think. So
yeah, that's what I was saying. I was getting confused. I'm like, wait, did he have the most innings pitched? But then I remembered, no, that was Boyd. But at the beginning of the year, we were kind of lumping Boyd and Ray in.
We didn't know what we were going to get.
And they were the two most consistent, generally good pitchers on this team.
Well, Cade Horton, I mean, once he came, was the best in the end. But
and that's why I about said the best, but then I was like, no, they're generally good, because I would say Boyd had the best season of the pitching staff. And Cade Horton had the second best, but only because he wasn't there for the whole season.
And then he got hurt. Yeah, I mean, everybody kind of, you could say that there was some flaw somewhere except for Boyd.
And then after that, you have Ray, who, again, Ray didn't have anything near like even probably an all-star year. But what we were expecting from him and what he gave us, like the return on investment for that one was, you know,
he had
a grand
he had a
slam.
good year for Colin Ray.
Yeah, he had a great year for Colin Ray, and it was a good year for the Cubs. I think if you had to put them all, he's probably the 3 guy based on just being there for the Cubs all year and putting in these numbers.
Based on the process of elimination and default.
Kind of.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if you start to adjust for whatever the fucking park factors and your expected blah, 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 yeah, he's going to be like 5.
Yeah.
But
well, let's take it to a commercial. We'll be right back. And please support us, patreon.com/BleacherBunch.
The Bleacher Bunch brings you great shows like Sun Ranto, Cubs PS Plus, Bricks Behind the Ivy, Cuppa Cubby Blue, and Baseball Rabbit Hole. But you could be getting so much more when you subscribe to our Patreon page for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/BleacherBunch. Get access to our exclusive daily show Cubs Pod, where we recap every single game. Plus, be the first to hear Cubs music, get early access to events, and receive an invitation to join our Discord Cubs community, where fans just like you show up every day to rant and rave about our beloved boys in blue. Most importantly, 10% of your Patreon pledge will go directly to help the Lost Boys Youth Baseball program. So join us. There are perks at every level, like the Renter Calendar, absolutely free, and name recognition for you or your business. We are independent Cubs podcasters, and we need your support. Otherwise, we'll quit. Seriously, we'll all quit. Some of us might even die from your lack of support. In fact, the cutest little puppy you've ever seen will die if you don't support the Bleacher Bunch at patreon.com/BleacherBunch. We promise to spend all the Patreon money on tickets and beer and all the dog crap we have to buy just to keep our podcast rolling. So give us your money, and we'll waste it far better than you will. Patreon.com/BleacherBunch. Free trials are available, but don't do a free trial. Just join, okay? Okay. Patreon.com/BleacherBunch.
In the clutch, in the clutch. Buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Take it from the Bleacher Bunch. You'll love the shirts from In the Clutch.
In the Clutch shirts are comfortable, stylish, and guaranteed to get you laid. Plus, they're proud sponsors of the Bleacher Bunch. Use promo code Bleacher Bunch for 10% off your purchase.
Nice to feel and soft to touch. That's why you will get laid so much. Wearing a shirt from In the Clutch. And you can thank the Bleacher Bunch. In the Clutch, in the Clutch. Buy Buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Remember the code Bleacher Bunch. Save 10% at In the Clutch. In the Clutch. In the Clutch.
In the Clutch shirt's actually not really guaranteed to get you laid.
We are back, but we forgot something very important, Danny. The Sun Ranto silhouette.
Oh,
Who's
you did
that?
it?
Cubby, totally forgot. And here we go. So let's take a minute. Danny, do you have any idea? Were you able to look at this at all?
No.
So who do you think this might be? Everybody in the chat,
high
go
leg
ahead and
kick.
start to chime in.
High leg kick.
Yeah, this is a Cubs player. He's batting. It's Topps early 2000s, I think. I actually don't know when this card is from.
I have no idea.
You have no idea? Okay. Well, I was going to give a minute, but I think it's there. We have a little bit of a delay going into the people watching. So I'm just going to give it to you right now. It's our guy,
D.
Derek Lee.
Well,
Very
I'm glad you
distinctive leg kick. I thought maybe you'd pick it up.
I'm glad you brought up first baseman because, you know, being that Michael Busch is exclusively a platoon player, and there's absolutely no possible way that he is going to be able to ever hit left-handed pitching. I'm going to get ahead of something that none of the other shows or blogs are talking about, which is the fact that Justin Turner, they declined his $10 million option, which I don't know if that was a good decision or not, because I can think, I mean, $10 million just for the ball sack and the shirtless cigar smoking alone, just the vibes alone of Justin Turner. Now they're going to be short on the bench. No guy in their 40s just sitting there. And so they're going to need another platoon player to platoon with a man who cannot hit lefties. So
This is you're making me sweat. I'm angry right now. I'm angry that you showed me that picture, that you keep talking about Justin Turner with what I'm thinking about everybody talking about on social media. And now, what the hell are you doing? You're bringing up people to bring onto this team to platoon with Michael
Justin
Busch,
Turner.
and I want to jump out a window.
Yeah, with Michael Busch. Yeah. So I'm looking at this list. These are all the free agents that you could pick up here. That either are switch hitters or righties. Take Josh Bell off the list because his splits are actually would be more like Michael Busch's splits. You know, like Bell is better against right-handed pitching.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you got to go with Carlos Santana, right? Because he's already with the team. You know who you got.
Well, he's not really. I mean, he was with the team, and so they liked him already, and he is top of the list there. He's 40 years old, so he does fit that bill of having an old guy. So, yeah, but I could see them doing that because they already did it. The other dudes that I thought that maybe they could do, Miguel Andujar, but I kind of doubt that too. I mean, I'll put up his splits here. And this guy plays all over the field. He does not play a lot of first base. So that's one strike against him. He plays other positions a lot more, but he has played first base in the past.
But that right there is honestly an upgrade over Turner, who couldn't even play first base, to tell you the truth.
But this guy this is his platoon splits for his career. 807 OPS against lefties versus a 734 versus righties. So he's trending in the right direction. Miguel Andujar, he was, I think, on the Reds last year. And then another one. Now, these guys are all going to want starting positions. They're not going to want a platoon with Michael Busch. So that's going to be like, why would you want to sign unless you were somebody like try to hang on like Justin Turner, who doesn't want to play every day anyway because he's too old. Then you could have maybe a Wilmer Flores, who his splits are 318, 468, 787 versus lefties. He's kind of older too. So maybe he's moving towards that way. I think he was with the Giants last year, but I don't know. He might also want a starting job still. And then there's Rhys Hoskins, who was with the Brewers last year. And this is my favorite choice and probably the one that I think they would love to do if they could do it, because this would be truly a great split situation. Rhys Hoskins with an 882 OPS and slashing 243, 382 OBP against lefties and a 501 slug.
Okay.
Now do I have your attention?
No.
Is that enough of a split for you to like Michael Busch hit 30 dongs against almost exclusively right-handed pitching?
And he would probably hit 7 or 8
32.
more if he got a chance to bat against lefties.
He might have been able to. But imagine if you split him up with Rhys Hoskins, you got yourself a DH as well. Rhys could DH for you. Like, I don't know. Sloppy seconds off the Brewers. I could see it happening. All right.
Well,
are you ready?
The one I kind of like, and God damn it, and I'm trying to look up.
I got you thinking about this, about
split.
actually doing
If
this.
I'm going to bring a guy in, I'm thinking more of like a Paul Goldschmidt. I've always liked Paul Goldschmidt.
Well, he's old and he fits that bill, but he's going to want a starting job, I think.
You think? I mean,
I do.
I don't.
He
don't
did
know.
last year. I mean, Paul Goldschmidt last year. Yeah,
he's already, so he's 38 years old. He just turned 38 in October.
Played in 146 games.
September, actually. Yeah, he did. And, but that's kind of the end of his, I don't know. I just can't imagine a guy who's 38 years old is like, I should be the starter, and he bats right.
You think he's going to go the way of Rizzo and just be out of the league? Or you think he would take a platoon job?
That's what I'm saying. I think he would take a platoon job. He's a right-handed hitter. And I'm looking at
you could DH him as well. Although he's a Gold Glove first baseman, he's probably a better first baseman than Michael Busch. Like, at that point, you're maybe DHing Michael Busch.
No, because now listen. So against right-handed pitching, he's got a 619 OPS. Against left-handed pitching, a 981 OPS. That was last year.
Oh, that's incredible splits. Yeah.
Which is exactly what you're looking for, because right-handed pitching, that's your Michael Busch.
I mean,
left-handed pitching, if that's what you truly want,
you're dreaming on some
981
shit.
is the OPS that you want.
Listen, they paid him $12 million last year. Okay, so I don't think
he only hit 10 home runs though the entire season.
I mean,
that's not great. But
if you're going to dream on somebody, I was being a little bit more realistic about, because I really do think that Goldschmidt's going to want to play. Anthony says Gino Suarez to rotate between first, third, and DH.
I don't know. Gino Suarez, I have to look at his numbers. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my true answer is that Michael Busch doesn't need a platoon. But if you have to have a platoon, I think I would put Paul Goldschmidt at the top of that list. And if he says no, then sure, go move on down to your Wilmer Flores or maybe a who did he say? Gino?
Yeah.
Suarez.
Well, the best thing about first of all, you got Pat Hughes saying Eugenio on a regular basis on the radio. That's the number one reason probably to sign Suarez. Secondly, is that you take ever having to face him ever. You take that away because, and I think his numbers, if memory serves, at Wrigley are incredible.
Well, against the Cubs, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, well, exactly. So how about for the Cubs, you get those numbers.
For the Cubs, we've seen this a million times. You never want to sign the Cub killer because he doesn't kill other teams.
All right, so I'm just getting ahead of it. The Cubs certainly have to work on their bench. I bet you, because they do think Bush is a platoon player, that they're going to do something there and have another guy. Hopefully,
I will tell you, I am not a fan of this picture that they have on Baseball Reference for Eugenio Suarez. It's rough, but let's see.
Take a look.
So right-handed pitching, he hits 865 OPS. Left-handed pitching, he only hits 714. He wouldn't be a good platoony guy for Bush in that spot.
I do like the concept of a guy that can play more positions than Justin Turner was able to play. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe if you were to go, not that, what's his name? Willie Castro.
Hit 49 home runs this year, though.
Well, and you got to cover Matt Shaw. I mean, that guy, we don't know what we're going to see. He was certainly good at playing third base. He could play the position well, but yeah, that bat, we just don't know. It's too many question marks on the team, really, to be like, oh, pencil that guy in. You know, like
in that sense, I do like Eugenio. If the idea is that he could back up both Bush and Shaw, then I'm kind of okay with it. If you're just bringing him in to platoon with Shaw, I don't like that either. I think that Shaw and Bush have both sort of earned their spot to just play, and they do need a guy that can give them breaks and stuff like that. And if Eugenio Suarez could do that and then maybe DH, but then
Suarez is going to want to play every day
too.
move
Seiya back out to right field because you don't have a right fielder now.
Unless you go with Casey. You know, and then what are you going to do with Ballesteros? Because now he's like a full-time DH unless you're going to let him be a catcher, but you kind of look like Amaya and Kelly there next year. So,
look, these guys, this front office, they don't like their prospects other than just to look at them. So they don't give a shit. They're not going to bring up Casey and, Ballesteros anyway. So.
Just end up beating the Rule 5 draft like a bunch of losers. All right, let's do the trivia so we could finish off the show at some point this evening. I've already almost spit out my question, so I'll just do mine first.
We'll go back and forth here.
Yeah.
And people in the chat, please jump in, see if you know the answer, because I can almost guarantee you I'm not going to get any of these right. I'm going to be surprised if I get them
you
right.
might. I mean, at least within a range.
I have one that I think you'll get, Danny, and then I have two that I think
your questions are insane.
Done.
Your questions are impossible. You're like, on Wednesday, September 13th, 1968. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? So, all right. Questions that you couldn't even get by looking it up. Like,
I did try to make it so that it wouldn't. I tried to ask the questions so that it wouldn't be that hard, but
I don't trust you. So, Colin Ray, here I'll go first. Colin Ray, his earned run average this year was 395.
Okay.
Word on the street was that he was bad in his total of 53 innings against the NL Central. He pitched 53 innings against the Central this year. How much worse was Colin Ray, because he was worse, against the Central than his 3.95. So what is his ERA against the Central? I guess is another way to answer that. Ask that
Okay.
question.
No, I like it. Well, I mean, you gave me some hints in the way that you were talking about it. I'm going to try and vamp here a little bit so that people in the chat can kind of give me the answer. But
Well, they can look it up. We can't trust them either.
no. But the way that you asked it, word on the street is that he's worse.
Right.
Almost makes me think he isn't going to be worse. But then you said he was worse.
He
so
was
I'm going to
worse.
go with I'm going to go with the 4.05 ERA.
Okay, that is incorrect, and it's not that close either. But it's kind of close. 4.41.
Oh, okay.
4.41. So he was like a half a run worse against the Central, which 53 innings. That's about a third of a season there.
Yeah. And that's not great when you're going to do, when you're obviously going to play your division the most. But again, I put a lot of blame on sort of game plan and strategy and stuff, because how are you going to be that good against the whole rest of the league? You know what I mean? And you can't play your own division that well.
I'll tell you that later.
Okay. All right. Well,
because I have an answer to that too.
okay. So my first question,
Yeah.
Danny, there was one pitcher who took an at bat for the Cubs this year.
Oh no.
Who was it, and whose spot did he take in the lineup?
God, who took an at bat?
If you can just get the pitcher, you get this, but sort of the bonus is whose spot did he take in the lineup?
Yeah, he took probably Justin Turner's spot or something. And it was probably because that's the platoon they were always messing with that spot. So he's probably either took Michael Bush's spot or something happened. It's probably a reliever.
It was in relief. Yes.
I'm gonna say it was Ben Brown.
Oh, that's interesting you say that, because it was not Ben Brown, but Ben Brown started this game
All right.
on March 31st
Oh God.
in West Sacramento
Oh God. Those games were in the middle of the night. I don't even think I watched them.
against the A's. Colin Ray
Oh.
took one at bat for the Cubs, and he did it in Dansby Swanson's spot.
Oh God.
So
Why?
the Cubs won that game 18-3.
Oh, that's the blowout.
So Colin Ray entered the game in the 7th inning because he was reliever at the time, not a starter. John Birdie replaced Nico at second base. Gage Workman took over at shortstop from
Birdie.
Swanson.
That guy sucked.
Yeah, but so he took over for Swanson. Swanson went to the bench, but Workman was batting first for Ian Happ, who also went to the bench. They moved Seiya Suzuki, who was the DH, into left field, and that means they did not have a DH. So Colin Ray coming in had to take that DH spot, but because of how everything moved and because Seiya was still in there, he took Dansby Swanson's spot in the lineup at number 6.
Oh my God.
And it wasn't that bad. He saw 5 pitches. He fouled off 3 pitches and watched 2 strikes and struck out.
Well, now we see what we've got out of Ray, I guess, if you need to use him in that spot.
Yeah, it was one of those weird. Obviously, they were up 16-3, I think, maybe 17-3 when he came in.
Oh, God. All right, next question. And this is kind of a two-parter because we didn't get to this before. But in 2025, how many points higher was Kyle Tucker's OPS in wins versus losses?
Man, I thought I was going to have this because I was looking at some Kyle Tucker numbers earlier.
How many points higher was his OPS in wins versus losses? And he's got more at bats in wins.
Right.
I
am
mean-
going to say.
That's because Cubs won more.
Can I do a range? Can I say
Yeah, like within. I mean, you're not going to get it on the dot.
30? I'm going to say it was 30 to 40. No, I'm going to go with like
How much better was he in wins than in losses?
I'm going to say he was between 90 and 110 points better in wins.
He was 366 points better.
Holy shit. Wait. What is his OPS? Or OPS plus?
Well, in wins than losses. I'll give that to you real quick.
I don't even know how these numbers. Oh, because the OPS, straight OPS. Yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense. 300
which is
points.
Gonna be,
wow.
Yeah, but it's I'll give you more. Let me just get this splits right here real quick. And all right. Let's see, where was I? In wins. All right. 993 OPS versus 627. 993.
Wow.
Now 78 games versus 58 games. 351 plate appearances versus 246. So there's still large sample sizes.
Right.
But
and
300 and what did I say? 366 points.
yeah,
That's insane.
And it's much closer in like it's more equal than say if you look at first half versus second half, Kyle Tucker. You know, because
Right,
you had
'cause this was
95
all year
games
long.
versus 41 games. Yeah. And you had 78 and you had 50 some. So it's like that's closer to even. But yeah, that's
Batting average of
366 points.
Yeah, batting average of 315 versus 197 in losses.
Yeah.
OBP 100 points higher. Slugging 260 points higher. That's the real big thing. Like 17 home runs in the wins, 5 home runs in the losses, which if you think about it, Cubs kind of win and lose by the home run. So
yeah. Well, there was a number that I liked on his splits for this year. Maybe you have got it right there. The T OPS.
Well, I have another one for Tucker too, and that's his home and aways.
Okay.
Want to hear his home and aways?
Go for it. See if you can ask me a question here.
Well, here's his home and aways, which is 66 home games, 70 away games. He played a little bit more away for whatever reason, but pretty huge away splits versus home. 923 OPS versus 747 at home. So Wrigley was not his friend. His batting average was almost 60 points higher. His OBP was 40 some odd points higher, and the slug was a lot higher, 130 points higher.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, he did not like it looks like Field. He did not like playing at Wrigley.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it's not a good idea to sign him again. Just saying.
So when it right, because you do play 82 games. I mean, half the games are there.
If he just sucks at Wrigley, then we have problems.
Yeah. So
it's a lot of games.
I was looking up when I was seeing on Reddit everybody complaining about the Silver Slugger thing. I started looking up his numbers, and so when you're looking at this, the T OPS plus, that is the OPS for split relative to his own what he does, right? Yeah. What we expect him to do. In the first half, he was 109, right? So he was actually 9 points higher than himself. It's
9 times.
It's hard to say that and make it make sense, but he was 9 points higher than he was for himself. But in the second half, his TOPS plus was 77. So he was 23 points worse than himself.
That's what I'm going to say next time I'm having a bad day. I'm like, well, just my TOPS plus is feeling a little bit down. I'm
Right.
23 points worse than myself.
Yep. 23 points worse than himself, but that's also 32 points worse than what he was doing in the first half, right? So that really makes a lot of sense, like why people were like, I can't believe he did this. Here's the rub on that, though. The SOPS, that's the OPS versus the rest of the league at his position, was 147 in the first half. So that's 47 higher than everyone else in the league. And in the second half, it was 107.
That's still pretty
He
good.
was still 7 points better than the rest of the league in the second half when he was doing terrible.
Yeah.
So it's like when you think of that Silver Slugger, everybody's like, well, I can't believe he won it. He sucked. Well, he only sucked compared to himself.
Yeah,
Because
recency
compared to
bias.
everyone else, he was actually still better.
Yeah, and it's recency bias. He was still taking walks. He was still doing things.
Right.
All right. So it's actually your turn. We're only halfway through this.
It is my turn. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right, Danny. There were 9 players on the Cubs in 2025
9 times.
who had at least 400 plate appearances this season. And if you want to think about it, it was literally one player per position on the Cubs had at least 400 plate appearances. Which player had the most strikeouts on the team?
Oh.
So think of the starting lineup. Those are the guys that had more than 400 at each position. It's not like there were
who had the most
multiple
strikeouts,
third
yeah.
basemen or something like that.
Yeah. Huh. Most strikeouts.
Right? Like, and you think about it,
Yeah.
you're like, man, some of these guys struck out a lot. It felt like they were.
Especially at the end. I almost want to say it would end up being somebody like PCA, just because he would seem to be striking out all the time at the end. Hap too had some games where he just struck out. But he's not known for being a strikeout guy. All right, I'm gonna say, and then there's Seiya just watching strike 3 all day long. But I think but in the end though, it might be Dansby because he sucks.
You got
I'm
it
gonna
right.
I'm going Dansby
That's right.
just because he sucks.
Dansby Swanson ended the season with 168 strikeouts to lead the team in strikeouts. Seiya had 164, so not far behind. And PCA was third with 155 strikeouts.
All right. Well, I was thinking of it right anyway.
Yeah, you had all the guys in my top 3 there, but yeah, it was Dansby. So for everybody who was like, Dansby really sucked this year. Yes, he did. He did.
Yeah, he really did. Yeah. So, all right. Okay. The Cubs, they had what was their winning percentage this year? I had this up, but I lost
it was like 550 something, I think. 551.
Right. Something like that. They were in second place. But they actually played pretty well in their 48 games versus the American League, that poverty league over there on the South Side. So they in their 48 games, what was their record?
48 games. What was the Cubs' record? It was
And I already gave you a hint that it's a winning record.
right. Well, yeah, I actually knew that it was a winning record, but man, knowing the numbers, woof. I'm gonna go with 30 and 18.
That is correct.
Yes.
That is a
I can't
630.
believe
That is correct. That is on the. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. You had to have looked that up. That's incredible.
Wait, now I want to
man.
know, did they have a 551 winning percentage? Because I just pulled
Yeah,
that
you
out of my
guessing
ass,
that
too.
too? Yeah, let me see the standings. MLB. Let's see. Standing. What was it? It was a 568.
Oh,
One point shy of nice.
well, I'm glad you didn't ask me that question. Well, Danny, we are tied right now, 1-1 in this. You got the Dansby, I got the record. So, all right. Am I leading this thing off?
Well, it's your turn, right?
Yeah. This is my third one. Was that your third one?
That was my third one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you can win this right now by getting this correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There was only one offensive category that the Cubs led the league in.
The whole major
leagues.
leagues.
I'm going to give you the category. Sacrifice flies.
Okay.
That's the one category that the Cubs led the entire league. So American and National. Who was that player that led the league in sacrifice flies?
On the Cubs?
How many did he have? Yeah, a Cubs player led the entire league in sacrifice flies. Who was it, and how many did he have?
Oh man, I wonder if it was like Carson Kelly. No, because he didn't really play every day. I'm gonna see. It would be somebody when there's somebody standing on third. Which I mean, that doesn't really narrow it down.
Well, see, and I was kind of wondering about that too. I didn't look too deep into it,
kinda
but
hard,
the sacrifice, like you could, if you hit the ball into the outfield and they ran from second to third, is that a sacrifice?
Oh, is that a sacrifice, or is that like because that's not an RBI sacrifice. Is this just a sacrifice fly moving a guy from second to third?
Right. But it's pretty,
not as often from first to second. That doesn't happen much, but they're mostly third to home, I would say. But let's say
I would say most of them. Yeah.
I really don't know the answer to the question.
Well, so the Cubs were it feels like at least the Cubs were historically bad bringing that guy home from third with less than 2 outs. You know what I mean?
I'm going to say
it's amazing to me that their guy led the league.
I'm going to say Ian Happ.
Oh, you're wrong. Do you want to wager a guess on how many sacrifice flies led?
That I don't know at all. Like I can't think if that would be a small. I'm going to say it's like maybe 18 or something.
Okay. It was Pete Crow Armstrong.
PCA, huh?
With 12.
All right.
12. How in the hell is 12 the top of the entire major leagues in sacrifice flies? That's the part that like blew my mind. How it is possible that
doesn't happen that much.
It should. It should. It absolutely should. This just seems like a failure. There was one guy that had 12 sacrifice flies, and that was the best.
8% of games he's hitting a sac fly. PCA.
It's fucking terrible, man. And I want to say, I think he had like 3 or 4 of those, like in that last month when he just couldn't buy a hit, but he could like drive a guy in with a pop fly. That was like the only positive he had going for him at home plate.
So that was fun.
Yeah. That was, yeah.
I like doing that. We should do that. It's nice because it does. Then we don't have to do like a whole trivia show. But you end up, we could, if you had, I mean, shit, that was just 6 total questions. If we had 10 questions, we'd be here all night.
Yeah. Well, and you learn interesting things about the game, or things that you forgot. I mean, I hadn't thought about that 18-3 game since April 1st, and the game was on March 31st.
Exactly. All right. So I want to invite everybody on Saturday, November 22nd. The Lost Boys are throwing their organizational meeting. I actually have a graphic this time to put up, and
Ooh.
a bunch of us are going to be there. There is a QR code on the screen right now if you would like to come, but actually don't click the QR code. Just let me know. There's going to be a bunch of us in our group, and we're all going to sit together. We're buying 2 tables for this. It's a brunch, and they're going to have champagne, and Levante is going to speak, and I believe we're going to get some kind of award from Lost Boys as well.
Nice. We get to, sit at, you get to come hang out with the Son Ranto show eating breakfast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of.
What other podcast will give you breakfast? Old man podcast.
We'll give you breakfast at noon, and we'll give you dinner at 4:30.
And by the way, this is going to be at Haymarket Pub and Brewery at 737 West Randolph. I also have a link I can drop in the chat, so I'll do that right now. It is just so you can kind of look it up. But as I said, if you want to go, ask me, and I'll make sure you can just give me the money, and I'll give it to Levante because we get a discount because we're getting the table, So it's different if you can buy an individual ticket, but you don't want to if you want to sit with us, if that makes sense, which it does. To most
Right. Why would you not want to sit with us?
Why would you not want to? So if you would like to come to this event and not sit with us, by all means, buy a ticket of your own from the Lost Boys.
Yeah. If you're like, I want to support them, but I don't actually want to talk to
them. Yeah.
I would totally understand.
Cubs caroling December 20th. A lot of people are asking me, when is Cubs caroling? Well, that's when it is. I have not made an event yet. I will do that eventually. I did make another Cubs carol song that I only shared with Bill Sugas. I'm like, this is not for public consumption. In this current political climate, I don't know. It's not for the regular show. Maybe I'll put it on the Discord eventually on a late night. See, back in the days when I was drinking, you would have seen all this stuff. So I just have I have a slightly more of a filter now.
Nice.
So Cubs caroling 12/20. Also, we're going to do the Cubs caroling competition. So start writing your Cubs carols. That's going to be right around that same time when we'll unveil everybody's amazing carols.
Yeah,
Send
I think the plan is to do it the Thursday before actual
Christmas,
Cubs caroling. Yeah, so that's going to be the 18th.
Yeah. So, and just that there's Cubstradamus. I don't know what's going on with him, but he did get picked up by ICE. He called me collect from the detention center. I did not accept the charges because because to be honest, talk about I hope, they're doing these third party renditions or third country,
Yes.
putting people in a third country. I'm thinking about another planet for that guy, possibly. Could you send him to Mars? Could we have some sort of deity penal colony on Pluto?
Yeah.
The dark planet.
I think Pluto is far enough away from the sun that it's kind of frozen, and maybe the stink will actually get kind of frozen so that it won't be so bad for so far.
Can only help for all those Plutonians.
His actual stink and how hot and sweaty he is and disgusting, he could actually maybe bring life to that planet.
Exactly.
He would be like Spock in Star Trek 3. They shoot him there, and then in 10 years, Pluto has this is how we're going to colonize a new planet. We're just going to shoot Cubstradamus into Pluto.
As bacteria can possibly survive there. So I did want to wish a happy birthday to a couple of people. Blake Beard, one of our fine supporters, good friend, awesome dude. Happy birthday to him. Happy birthday to Matt Kammerer, too. I think they have the same birthday. And who else was on this list? Oh no, that's the World Series. Ronnie Woo Woo, of course. Michael Cerami just celebrated a birthday as well. From Bleacher Nation. But I did before we go. I wanted to point out morons were saying online that was the greatest Game 7 in the history of the World Series that they've ever seen. I'm like, you must be 6 years old then, because there's no way the Dodgers repeating with a really expensive team in a repeat after they've been in the World Series a bunch all year is anywhere close to a 108-year drought, 2016 World Series, 5 million at a parade. Like, no, I'm sorry. There's no comparison. That was a good game. It was a very good game. Fuck the
Very
Dodgers,
good,
but
very entertaining. But you're right. It wasn't the best Game 7 because that was Cubs in Cleveland. That was the best Game 7 because here's the thing. Cleveland succeeded. They just kept coming back. The Cubs succeeded. They just kept going ahead, right? In the end, what happened is that two teams just continued to add on and do well. And the Cubs were able to do just a little bit better because Miguel Montero drove in that final run. And as we all know, that was the game winner, not Ben Zobrist, despite whatever the fucking rule books say. It was Miguel Montero.
And in this game, it was just the Dodgers having a little bit more firepower at the end. And frankly, the Blue Jays making some dumbass mistakes. Like
The Blue Jays failed badly on the base paths throughout this series. Like they really could have won. In the other, that 18 inning game, they made some really bad base running decisions. Like that is the difference. Like they had an opportunity and they failed. And that's why the Dodgers were able to win.
Yeah.
In the Cubs in Cleveland, everyone did everything they could. The Cubs just got a little bit more at the end. Like that was an amazing ending.
Yeah, it just the greatest game, and then the rain delay and the speech and the 108 years and two historic franchise. I'm sorry, these World Series were nothing alike, and that was, and I'm biased, obviously, but anyway, that's kind of my TFC. I don't really have another good one. I have other ones. Do you have one?
I have two.
Actually, I do have one.
Yeah, I actually came up with two. So let me look at, okay, I'm going to bring up this one. This got off the rails. This was about Justin Turner not getting, finally getting kicked off this damn team. But for some reason, these mentions came up in the Reddit thread. And this first one I love. I don't remember what he was responding to, but the guy says, that would require money. And didn't you hear that Tom Ricketts is the poorest billionaire on earth? And then the guy right below, Sergeant Balzac, has a picture. It's a GIF of Woody Harrelson crying and wiping his eyes on money. And the caption is, Ricketts watching the 2025 Cubs leave for free agency.
Exactly.
Just
crying into his money.
Crying into his money.
Well, I have a Justin Turner related one. I did my quintessential season saved on Twitter. And when I saw that the Cubs had bought out Justin Turner, who became a free agent, and Drew Durham said, did they keep the fake balls? And Chicago Vince said, yes, Drew. Jed signed an extension months ago.
That's a good one. I like that. Chicago Vince, very, very nicely played.
Yeah, very good job.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in this one, again, I'm telling you, these just went off the rails. If you ate him, would you rather have him topped like a Chicago dog or an Italian beef? And then the guy responds, What do you put on your Italian beef? I usually just have it as it is, unless I get a beef and cheddar from Portillo's. And then he responds, giardiniera is a must. Yes, this. And then the final guy is, the only way celery gets into my body. This is just a random conversation in the middle of this post about Justin Turner getting bought out. And I don't know, just some random person is like, if you ate Justin Turner, would you dress him up like a Chicago dog?
You definitely need to dip him into au jus. That's for sure.
You know what? I'm going to say I'm not getting a Justin Turner dog, right? I prefer all beef hot dogs. And that dude is just pure pork.
Yeah, it's all filler. It's nothing but lips and assholes in that guy.
Lips, assholes, and testicles.
And all right, here's my final TFC. This is having to do with a picture I posted online. I'll show the picture first of me and Ronnie at his birthday party. And there's Ronnie wearing a hat and he's on his oxygen and stuff. And I'm wearing a Cubs helmet and we're looking happy.
And they're behind you in the 25 jersey, I believe, is one of the Muppets from the I believe he's one of the Muppets from the Electric Mayhem band.
Exactly. So anyway, I put this picture up and Fantasy PPR 12 says, I once watched a fan flag down security and ask that he be removed from the section because his constant noise. Ronnie was warned, he continued and was removed. The fan who flagged down security drank for free for the remainder of the game. Hashtag obnoxious.
Oh my God.
Cube.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I went to many a game where Ronnie was in the section wooing. Ronnie never stayed anywhere long enough, really.
Yeah,
to
because they kept kicking him
overstay
out.
his welcome. Like he would come in, he'd woo for a little while, and then he'd leave and he'd go somewhere else and woo.
Nobody can woo more than Ronnie Woo Woo.
He's the woo
He woos
foo.
a lot. Yeah.
the woo foo. He's the woo woo. Wait, woo.
He's the Wu-Tang Clan.
He's the Wu-Tang Clan all by himself. He's all 8 guys.
But no, I mean just fuck you, guy. What are you doing? Why are you being such an asshole? What's wrong with you? So I guess that's the show. I'll put up in honor of Ronnie. I will. I'm uploading it right now. I just thought of it. So It's the Ronnie Woo Woo chorus, which is I did. We're into the Christmas season. Halloween's over. There's already radio stations that have gone all Christmas already.
Oh my God! I'm glad I haven't found those. I did want to point out I will be gone next week, going to Hawaii, and then when I get back, you are going to Mexico.
Don't steal a golden idol. Don't steal a golden idol. Wait, otherwise you're gonna end up with a tarantula on your chest, like in the Brady Bunch. Remember that episode when they go to Hawaii and get cursed?
Yes, they got cursed. But what was? Oh, I think The Simpsons did that episode where they got the curse, but then they found out that they were selling them at like a souvenir stand. The idol. Yeah.
So hashtag chance in the chat. We also forgot that.
Yeah. So are you going to I don't know if you're going to do a show next week, but I won't be here. But the week after you won't be here, but I think I will do a show. And then it's going to be Thanksgiving. And I don't think we're doing a show. So.
Well, right now we're doing a chance. So hashtag chance in the chat. So your last chance to get in the chance and let's pick one.
Oh, just spinning all those names.
I think Joey's in there twice.
Who's going to do it?
Rogue Wave Creative.
Hey, congrats, Rogue Wave Creative.
Congratulations. And we will, you have won the Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom. Thank you to all of our Patreon subscribers and everybody that tuned in tonight. We had a good time. Hope you did too. Please subscribe to us and we'll be back. Well, I'll be back next week. Michael will be doing, well, hopefully you won't have a tarantula on your chest. That's all I'll say. Or hopefully you will. if you want such a thing on your chest. All right. Spagog.
Spagog.